evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxshire, on the show this evening is Port Bear and GB. Evening, boys.
How we doing, Oxshire? How we doing, GB? Hope you're well, boys.
Good evening, Port. Good evening, Oxshire. I echo that, mate. I hope you're all well.
How's the Chuckle Sisters doing, lads?
Aye, the bromance is still there, mate. Still getting phone calls with the heavy breathing. I love it. Aye, yep, he's been keeping me going, mate.
Tag teams champions of the world, mate. Tag team champions of the world.
Yep.
Yes. I've seen some of GB's pictures.
You've not showed them any our pictures, GB, have you?
No, that's
okay.
For Rangers party.
Aye.
Rangers for everyone and anyone. I'm not
yes. Yep.
All right. So we're not having the best of times in the club, but we've got a Champions League tie coming up tomorrow night where we could still progress in Europe if we can manage to arguably get a draw. You never know. Bizarre as it seems, Port Bear.
I'd just like to say, mate, first of all, I'm going to talk about the Livy game, mate, and I'm going to talk about the weeks, prior.
Listen to the question, Port Bear.
All right, I'll go with the current match. Right, if anybody out there thinks that Napoli will rest any players, they're going to be far wrong, mate. They want to beat an unbeaten record, which they hold.
You mean the same as they done last year?
11 games they've got. If they win the 12th game against Rangers, that breaks the record for when Maradona played with them in 1986. So they're not going to play a weakened side, mate. They've scored 43 goals in 15 matches in the league. They've scored 17 goals in 4 Champions League matches. In a group that's got Ajax, Liverpool, and of course Rangers in it. This is a team that could win this tournament, mate.
Top side. Well, the same form last year, but never won it. GB, we'll get to the weekend's game, but it's a big game tomorrow night. But we can, what they've spent and the side they've put together, we know they're a smashing side, mate. Yeah.
Probably another step up in quality again, Ox, for even Liverpool, the way their form's been. A fantastic side, and I think all we can hope for is not to be cannon fodder tomorrow. I think it's just basically try and put on a performance and get through the game and hopefully get a draw and try and, like you say, push us into a European place.
All right. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Right, okay. My rationale, Port Bear, is if we get as much chance of taking a point tomorrow night as Livingston did at Ibrox at the weekend.
Oh, Sheriff, of course. I mean, there's the old adage, winning ugly, mate. I couldn't care. Look at Hamish does every week in Scotland. What's up with Rangers setting up the way Walter Smith did when we went in the run to Manchester? It's horrible to watch, Oxshire, but if you've got to play at your strengths, we've not got strengths and ability in players that's on form to cut team with 5-4-1 with Mayer to really battle. But that's the one thing that worries me about this Rangers team, mate. Giovanni van Bronckhorst wouldn't inspire me to go out there and run through brick walls for him, snap into tackles. Well, I've lost it with him, mate. I watch him. It's a guy he looks inept, mate. He looks lost. He looks out of ideas. It's scary to watch, mate. And I watched Gerrard getting the sack at the weekend, and that's all we heard. The players down tools. That's what our players look like done to him, mate.
Well, only time will tell. I think the games we've won domestically doesn't suggest that in some respects, GB, but the performances, they could have a point.
I think that's it, Ox. We've been a fair fan base in the years gone by, even with Gerrard. How many times did he have draws and losses and stuff like that? And a lot of us were probably shouting the same things for him to go at the time. But the difference in that time was that with Gerrard, we've seen progression. We've seen that he could dig out a result against Celtic. He could produce players like when better performances and stuff like that. With Gio, since he's came in, Ox, for me, it just doesn't seem to the team's not progressed. It's always been a kind of huff and puff in the league. Like we've either smashed teams or we've struggled to beat teams. We've never had a kind of.
I must have missed that smashing, but.
Well, like what I mean is like the 4-0s and stuff like that he's rocked up with and stuff like that. Like they're big results, but again, they probably weren't convincing performances. But on paper, like you says, they look as though they've went out and smashed a team 4-0. But it's just, I think overall we've always just with Gio huffed and puffing. I've never seen the progression there. I mean, he's even last season, if we're comparing all firm games, he's still. I was hoping he would go into this season and that would be nailed, that he would have had an understanding of how to deal with that. And to be honest, ever since then he's limped by, and we've just been waiting for this moment to come up and catch his mate in the league.
There is some, this is only my personal thoughts, I touched on it last night when Warburton was there. And Warburton came in and he took us for a low base, we played some decent stuff, it was good to watch, and we knew we had to improve. He brought in some experienced players. Funny enough, near legs in midfield, Portbear there.
Yep.
Barton and Crankshaw. And he kept playing a system that couldn't win big matches, and we've seen it. When it worked well, they played some decent football, attacking football. But as teams got to know you, they just cancelled you out. And if you're predictable constantly, it's easy to stop, isn't it?
Come on, mate. I could probably pick a Port Junior side that would probably stop Rangers. I know exactly how they set up, mate. They set up to use Borna, Tav, who's not even getting down the wings now to influence the game, and try and get balls in to feed Cholak. And that's what David Martindale said in his interview. He mentioned it. He knew it was going to happen. And he said, we just set up to stop and getting the ball in one wide. We played narrow in our defence. We played narrow in midfield. And they stopped us, apart from Lundstrom's goal, mate. It doesn't seem to have a plan B for me, mate. And for a guy who's been in China, part of the Man City group, he's been, over 100 caps. He's got to know more than one system, mate. And he's got guys there, Roy Mackay, etc., the boy Voss, Cherry Bolly. Surely they've got to go to him, mate, and say, hey, look, Gio, no disrespect, we need to change this because the system's not, fitting the players.
Did you not change it during the game, Portbear? Is that not what you get paid money for?
Aye, that's what I'm getting at, mate. See if I was David Voss or Roy Mackay or Cherry Bolly, who part of that coaching team, I could have bite my lip, mate. I'd be saying to him, because you can see it, but we're watching it as fans, and you've been speaking about it on the show for a couple of weeks now. But we can see it, and we're only the common men. We've not got coaching badges. We've not got,
Speak for yourself.
Aye. But what I'm talking about is that level, sorry, mate. But you get what I mean, we can see it. So how can he not see it? And why is his hierarchy not saying to him, look, mate, you need to get a finger it, or we going to need to pull the plug? And like I say, why is his compatriots not saying to him, this is not working, Gio. We need to find a system that suits this current team.
All right, okay. All right, but we still need to get behind the team. Millie's there, he's your manager, it's your team, and we have the support, and we're going to back the club. Bridgman says the Rangers really need this, GB, and sometimes in adversity, you have to stick with the thing you love with.
Oh, of course, mate. I mean, we're always there. We've stuck by, I would say, worse times than what we're seeing just now. It's just, unfortunately, like I say, his performances are no matching what our expectations are now. And tomorrow night, again, you never know. They could go out and put in a performance that kickstarts them. Was we joined with somebody?
No.
It gets us in a position, Oxley, he says, that we could get European football, but again, like you said, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. Maybe us having less games and taking away the excuse. I heard the excuse at the weekend after Gio that the players need rest and stuff like that. Some players needed rested in that. I just don't think we can use that excuse. No, this early in the season, mate. But at least if there's no European football, then he's got zero excuses. They've got a full week to train, relax, and get ready for games.
Aye, I would like us to progress. I want us to progress in every tournament. All right. So it's a big game, and I'll tell you what, David, before we open the phone lines, we're going to hear the Ports report just to give a view on the opposition tomorrow night, if that's all right with you, Taylor.
Hello and welcome to Ports report. We're going to have a look at Napoli versus Rangers, the predictions, team news and lineups. A meeting of the perfect and pointless takes place at the Stadio Maradona on Wednesday as relentless Napoli host rock bottom Rangers in the Champions League. Boasting a 100% record in Group A, the Serie A side confirmed last time out with another spectacular win, with their Scottish counterparts being destroyed 7-1 by Liverpool in their worst home defeat, which confirmed Napoli's qualification. Having scored an incredible 10 times past Group A rivals Ajax over the past 2 match days, Napoli cruised into the last 16 style as their glorious start to 2022-23 campaign continues at pace. After their most recent success, 3 of 9 players topped the Champions League leaderboard for combined goals and assists belonged to Napoli, with Raspadori with 4 goals and 1 assist, Peter Zielinski 3 assists and 2 goals, and Castelvella 2 goals and 3 assists, all being directly involved in 5 each. Already through to the knockout stages, Luciano Spalletti's side will be confirmed as Group A winners if they can complete a double over the ailing Rangers side this week, and Liverpool fail to beat Ajax. Even if they only draw, Napoli will secure top spot, which is incredible. They could now become the first Italian club to win each of the first 5 group games since Juventus in 2004, and all indications are there'll be no slowing in progress under the wily management of Spalletti. Proof of this was the big derby match against Roma, where on Sunday it seemed like the Azzurri were set to drop points for the first time since August. Osimhen rose to the occasion at the Stadio Olimpico as his stunning late win in the derby against Roma took their winning run to 11 games and counting. This represents the Campanian club's best streak for 36 years. Napoli's form in all competitions is 6 straight wins. Rangers in all competitions is a loss, a win, a loss, a win, a win and a draw. Team news for Napoli, posing a pleasant problem for Luciano Spalletti to resolve. At the weekend, Victor Osimhen scored his second successive winner since returning from injury, but this season Giovanni Simone and Napoli's leading Champions League goal scorer Gianmarco Raspadori are also vying for selection up front. The host coach once more be without centre-back Amir Rahami, which keeps him out with a thigh injury and keep him out until 2023, so Juan Jesus should deputise alongside Kim Min-jae. Through Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa returned to training this week after a thigh problem of his own, he may not be ready to feature, which would see Tanguy Ndombele and Elfis Ilmas start in midfield. Joining them should be Peter Zielinski, and so far the Champions League only compatriot Robert Lewandowski has directly been involved in more shots in his tally of 23, 10 attempts, 13 chances created. Napoli's possible lineup will be Meri in goal, De Lorenzo right back, Kim and Jesus at centre back, Rui left back, Elmas, Labotka and Zielinski in the middle, Politano, Raspadori and Castelvella, who will interlink with each other and have a lot of movement up front. Napoli, as we already know, have some massive talent. Even though they lose Koulibaly and Inzaghi, they've brought in 8 new stars. I'm going to name some of the stars that I think will make a real difference tonight. And it's the Georgian Maradona, Kavica Karavelis, brought in to replace Lorenzo Inzaghi. He's been a joy to watch for the Napoli fans. One of his key strengths is the ability to remain composed and play piercing passes through counterparts' defences, scoring goals, creating goals, and has a great start to his Italian career so far. 2-footed, able to play on both flanks, very quick, great dribbling ability, and likes to shoot some distance. His one flaw is his crossing ability isn't the best. Victor Osimhen, the Nigerian nightmare. The Nigerian international is a very, very quick, loves to run in behind defenders, good in the air, starts a lot of attacks on the left side of the pitch, drifts into space, scores goals, good aerial ability, great one-touch finishes. Voted Serie A's Young Player of the Year last year. Right back Giovanni Di Lorenzo was their star during the Euros when they defeated England in the final. Named one of the stars of the tournament, albeit he was injured and missed the final. Can play anywhere along the back line Very versatile, but has been right back consistently for the past few years. Not the quickest, but strong in the tackle, great technique, interceptions are a must, and has real quality in the aerial ability. Napoli have a host of great players. Politano, who's another tricky winger, who Borna Barisic will have to watch out for tonight. Again, likes to cut inside, and the shots on his strong foot, which is his left foot. Napoli are a very dangerous side, and Rangers will need to be at top draw tonight to try and get a result. Many's maybe watching behind the couch, but let's see if Rangers can go out and make us proud and show what this Rangers can do in a European match. And that's the end of Port Report. Thank you very much.
Okay, he's quite good at the old Italian, GB, did you notice?
I know that I'm actually not even going to try and pronounce some of the names.
Quite good at Italian. I just want to pick up his geography.
All right, okay.
Port Bear.
Yes, mate.
Did you say Roma and Napoli was a derby?
Yes, it is. Aye, yeah, it is a derby.
Okay, have you seen how far apart they are?
No, I know they're far apart, but it was a derby game. It was deemed a derby game, and I watched it at the weekend.
I think you'll find that Roma is Lazio, isn't it?
Aye, that's the big one. But for some reason, Napoli also in Roma is a derby. I don't know why, mate.
Okay, derby. Different. Don't know about your geography. Your Italian was very good. But on the top side, you're a top side, and we know that. We know that before we played them. And they were a pot 3 team, GB.
Scary Ox, isn't it? I mean, some of the players you're just writing off, Port, that Raspadori and all that, and Lonzo, just top steady players. I mean, it's going to be some ass tomorrow night. They do play that 4-3-3 that we used to play, but they play it a lot better than what Gerrard done. They've nailed that formation, and they know everybody knows their job. Port across it, it's frightening how they've progressed, especially when they've been weakened with players getting sold and stuff like that over the years. But again, if you want to be the best, you've got to play the best. So it's up to our players to try and learn from it.
About some side Port, and I mean, they're not your typical Italian, eh? They play attractive football.
No, definitely, mate. You know, the playing system, you know, as Gary touched on, the 4-3-3 system, you know, where they up the possession-based football, you know, that's unusual. It's usually direct in it, and you know, strong defensively, which they're always good at. They'll use their 2 holding midfielders, which will be Labotka and Zielinski Mora. So they'll sit and protect the back 4, and they'll let their front 5 basically just go and assist and attack, and that's going to be some job, mate. You know, Napoli will aim to possession and control. No team's had more possession in Spalletti's team so far this season. 59.3% of possession in games so far, mate, and that's incredible to basically out possession every team they've played this season. They work very, very hard, mate. So as well having the flair players and the fancy dancers, these guys work hard.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see what people's thoughts on our lineup will be tomorrow night, GB.
Aye, it's because there are a couple of doubts, especially for the weekend. Matondo and King. I mean, King was saying he was feeling no well at half time, so that this weekend's is even more going in against a fantastic side.
Who you mentioned?
Matondo.
Oh, well. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, hopefully the young boy King is okay, and it was just maybe a stomach upset or something. I know, nothing related. I would say I would change slightly different to you, Port. I would go 4-5-1. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And bizarrely, I would maybe play for 2 left backs.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Extra defensive cover.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I would play it. I've not really thought about it, but you see where I'm coming from.
I'd probably play it Borna at left back and Redvan in front of him, mate, if I'm honest. But they could interchange, couldn't they? They could interchange.
Aye.
If you're going to find out how good this boy is, mate, let's throw him in. I like the idea. I like the idea of what you're saying there. Let's get the boy in.
And if I'd done that, I would maybe play right or Kent on the right hand side. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Somebody that's going to gear shift, get involved. And then 3 in the middle would have to be, unfortunately, there's no Ryan Jack. I think he would have started. The midfield, we're struggling for numbers, so Lundstrom's going to play. I would imagine Scotty Arfield's going to play, and Stephen Davis will maybe have to play, which doesn't add up. We've no legs in there, but we're struggling for people in there, mate. Eh?
Would you not throw Sands in there?
Possibly, mate. Possibly. That's a good shout. GB?
Aye, that's what I was going to say. It's Sands. I was probably thinking it would be Sands, Arfield, Lundstrom in the midfield, the midfield 3. And then obviously I would play Fashion on the right, Kent out on the left, obviously Cholak up front. And then in defence, Tav, King, Davies, Borna, McGregor and goal.
It depends if King's fit, yeah.
Aye.
Sands might have to go into the right hand side of the defence, you know.
Aye, he might be your centre.
Because we took another young defender with us. I'm interested to see if he gets any game time. But I get where you're coming from. Sands and Lundstrom in there. Sands playing the Ryan Jack role, if that makes sense, Port.
Yeah. I definitely think we've all touched on it, mate. We know James Sands is strong in the tackle. He's got legs. He's younger. He's just what we need. He's just a guy like him in there, mate. I think he's surely got to play in there. We've got to get in their faces and we're in 8 Oxford and not make it easy. Make it ugly, like I says. Get the ball long up to, I want Morelos to start. Get the ball, directly up to Morelos and let him battle. Because one of their best centre backs is out. That's why they're playing Juan Jesus. So let him up, get the ball long, Oxford. I don't care if it's horrible to watch, but get some sort of result. A 0-0, a 1 each. That's what I want to see, mate. I just want over Smith style football, mate. I know it's not the best to watch. I know that's people maybe think I'm going back the way, but we've not got the tools in the box, Oxford, anymore to play that attractive football. No,
you want the guys to go out and some of the players, and maybe if they start with Alfie, what you're getting is 50, 60 minutes. You've got to use the substitutes at the right time. GB, and that's a criticism that I think can be laid at the manager.
Leaving things too late. I left things too late at the weekend as well. Ox flinging, he rolled the dice eventually, but again, it was far too late. The game was gone nowhere, and he left it. He finally put on the tackles that we wanted together, and I left it too late. But it will be tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of energy getting used, I think, Ox. So he'll need to be on the ball. I think around about 60 minutes, 65 minutes tomorrow night. Definitely going to need a freshen up front, depending who starts. If it's Cholak or Buffalo, you mean?
And I've got to say, boys, that I think that with 5 substitutes, you're not worrying about people's feelings. If it's the right thing to do at half time, you do it. Port.
Of course you do. If it's still working, mate, then you change it. Your sentiment goes out the window when you're trying to show a bit of pride, Oxford. These guys, particularly like Kent, who have not been performing, Tav not been performing. How many times is Gio going to give him a chance? I think sentiment's got to go out the window, mate. And if these guys aren't going to wear that Rangers jersey proudly, then if at half time it's got to be changed, mate, then send them out the window, mate, get them off and give somebody a chance that wants to play.
We're a wee bit unfortunate because we are hindered with selection, but what stranger things have happened. We need to go out and I think we're just looking to win a bit of pride, if that makes sense, GB.
We've only got 2 games left in the Champions League, Ox, so I mean it would be good for us to see something for all the hard work it took us to get there. As much as nobody was really expecting us today much in the group, it would be nice to get a wee point, just something to boost a wee bit of confidence in the team. Because like I say, we will support them. But if we see hard work and the endeavour and all the rest of it, then you'll not hear any shouting for the Rangers fans. But when you start seeing, like you say, late substitutions, players not really trying, then that's when you're going to hear the noise. So, just like I say, 5 substitutions tomorrow night, plenty of time to get better legs on. Again, maybe, like you were saying, maybe rest Kent, maybe put Kent on the bench, bring him on, maybe the 65 minutes, and let him just go at them. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that can happen. I mean, we can probably take hope for when Napoli played Bologna a couple of weeks ago. They came away with, well, Napoli still won 3-2, but I mean, it's proved that a team in their league can get 2 goals against them. I'm not saying that we are going to go out there and beat them tomorrow night, but I'm sure we can go out and put in a performance that can match them. Stifle them at least anyway.
Pride. Pride.
That's all I've ever asked for, Oxshire. Go on that pitch. Once you cross that white line, it's your responsibility. Regardless, your managers give you instructions, but it's your responsibility to go out there and give it 110%. And that's all you can ever ask for. You know, thumping into tackles, winning your headers, winning your duels, you know, covering the ground, covering every blade of grass if you can. That's all we'll ever ask for, Oxshire. And we can never criticise your team for that. But the trouble is, we've watched your team not doing that, mate. Guys hiding, not wanting the ball, not wanting to receive the ball. And that's the bit that frightens me. That's where I think that they're not playing for Gio, Oxshire, and I really believe that. I think they're not getting his system, they're not getting his formation. You know, there's a lot of times where he's, you know, square pegs and round holes. It's frustrated us. We've been like, what's going on here? What's happening? And I know he's got a lot of injuries, Oxshire, I know that. But we come up against these top teams, the drop off for last year, it looks like we've not had a pre-season, Oxshire. It looks like the pre-season, I don't know what's happened, mate. It looks like the pre-season.
That was touched on.
It's gone, mate.
That was touched on last night, that the fitness is to the layman's eye, mate, it looks as if we're not fit enough.
But could that be down to, see, because we're not looking fit enough, could that be down to that the players are just, you know, that way sometimes when
you were going to say, is that down to the new strip?
Aye, possibly. You know, that way you go to your work sometimes, right, and you've got a new manager that comes in and he does your reading, and you still have to go to your work and do your job, but you don't really do it with that same enthusiasm, and you look tired and you just want up the road and stuff like that. I think that's the way Rangers are looking at now. I think they know they need to go out and do what they need to do, but they're no excited about going out and doing it. And
the only positive I took for the weekend, mate, was the way our team kept going. And, you know, ultimately we should have ended up winning the game, but up to about 85 minutes we were atrocious sport. But that was the only positive I took out. They kept going and showed a bit of desire. There wasn't a lot of craft, it was a bit of panic, but they still had they try to push on and get the equaliser, and then they try to get the win. That was only positive.
I get that, mate. I get that, but I'm going to ask you a question. If you played for Van Bronckhorst, is he sort of manager that would inspire you?
He seems like a nice fella, GB.
No, it does, Ox. It's a hard one because you don't see behind the scenes. All you do is see, from what I see film, is you see the press conferences and you see you see how he spoke about the European run and that to the final and stuff. And even, in fact, you've seen the clip of them when they reached the Champions League, when they qualified and stuff like that. You've seen them in the dressing room. You didn't see a guy that was like cracking open the bottle of beer and like a Gerrard sliding across the flare and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that we can keep dreaming back to Gerrard and stuff like that, but I think this team's, I think what they forgot, see when this new management teams came in, that Gerrard had them as kind of brothers and it was a family environment and stuff like that. But then when Gio came in, I think Gio's came in with this kind of authority kind of set up where we've seen it in one of the videos with Mackay and he's like, the tricks are for the circus. Now, straight away, that's probably got to get some people's backs up in that team, especially maybe Kent to a certain extent, where he's like, no, you just stop that kid on. But is that not what a winger's meant to do, Hawks? Is that no? Are you not meant to have that bit of flair in you where you run down the wing and you try something that folk are like, wow, I can't believe you've done that turn, or I can't believe you've done that flick. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just can't be regimented to say, you're a winger, all you do is run up and down and cross balls in. I mean, surely you want me for it.
Depends if you're a top-class centre-forward, Port, is it? And you want the ball in early all the time.
He
really want the wingers to take touches with him.
No, he wants the ball in the centre circle right away. He doesn't want you cutting back, chopping back, or try to do a flick. He wants that ball in so he can attack the ball at first chance. One of the things that annoyed me right at the start was obviously Gerrard was known as a gaffer, which is I think is a bit more friendly. But I don't know, Gio, the boss, he wanted to call boss this. I don't know, I think Gary might be touching on something that he's upset the apple cart in a sense where maybe he's too strict, too regimented. You remember the Carroll man?
We're hearing different things from Villa, aren't we? About Gerrard.
Yep.
He brought the regime for Rangers, the discipline and all that, and they didn't like it. So I don't know. Well, it's a results-driven industry. Nobody questions all that if you're getting results, do they?
No, definitely not, mate. Definitely not. No. If you're winning your games, you're fine.
But I think we were, Ox. That's the thing. Even with Gio winning, his win percentage was high and all the rest of it. That's what I'm saying. We're still questioning our manager because we are not seeing improvement in that squad. We're not seeing players develop.
If you're not seeing improvement in the squad and the personnel, is that down to recruitment, GB? A subject we keep touching on.
Oh, mate, it is. But again, Gio's his own man. I mean, he's got to stand up and be counted if he's in a meeting or anything like that to say, this is the players you've got to be getting up with. Because I tell you something, if I was out doing my job and a guy said to me, go and fix that boiler there with a toothpick, I'd be like, no chance. I want the right tools to go in there and fix that first time for that customer. So
if the guy said to you, go and fix that boiler with that toothpick and I'll give you 30 grand a week, what would you do?
I'll try my very best. But maybe that's what he's done. Maybe he said to the gaffers.
Easy, isn't he?
Aye, definitely.
Maybe that's what Gio said to him, Lux. Maybe Gio's went like that to him. I'll try my best.
Fix that boiler for that neighbour I know.
Oh, of course, aye.
Right, okay.
I'll be a freebie, Ox. That'll be a freebie, mate.
Okay. All right, but Port, I get everybody's frustration. I don't think anything's going to happen, but people are right. It could be close,
Aye, my worry is Oxshire. If it is close, if he goes out and gets a drubbing tomorrow night, his jacket's pulling a sugary peg. But then we need to go get rid of these whole backroom staff. We need to go and find a manager, find more backroom staff. And how long will that take, Oxshire, to get that system and that, put together? You might be talking two, 3 years.
A director of football should always have plans A, B, C, and D laid out. Because let's be honest, Gio could get knocked down with a bus. He could resign tomorrow. He could resign Thursday morning. Yeah. Your job is different as director of football. That's your role. You have all these things in place. Who's free? Who can we get? Who's in our budget? That's your job. If you're the director of football, I mean, I would get GB a gold toothpick and let him crack on with it. No.
I bet here another guy, mate, you've touched on. Here another guy, his jacket's on a shaky peg. Ross Wilson, mate. You know, he's as culpable as Gio.
CBGB's gold toothpick, I would get him to take the screws out of his hanger. There you go.
Aye.
No, Alex, I mean, you make good points about Wilson and being ready for it. I mean, I would be very, very surprised if our board and all that didn't have something in place, like a money put aside for the inevitable. If, say for talk's sake, Gio was flying and he was doing brilliant and a team came in for him or something like that and bought him out, then we would need to be ready to put a manager in place. So surely we're ready if we need to pull the trigger as well.
It should be constantly updated and you should be reading that plan constantly. That should be a constant plan, moving plan as long as recruitment. Who's free, whose contract's up, who we can get. That's his job. And, well, I don't like to see anybody lose his job, but recruitment's not been great, Port.
No, definitely not, mate. I think it's probably less than 40% his signings have worked out, mate. If I'm totally honest,
that's not a bad hit rate, mate.
Aye, but I just think when we're using the cross border, and we've got guys like Bassey and Aribo and that. I mean, that was great bit of business by the man. But what the rest of the teams caught and don't they? Well, we can get that. We can take these players, these young English players. I mean, Germany's forever doing it now. If you look at all the players that's jumping to Germany, Finland, playing for big clubs, you know, anyway, they're jumping, mate.
We've been joined by old Davey, who'll be on this. I think this is his last show before his birthday. So all the best, Davey. How we doing, mate?
Yes, good evening, boys. I better not say good evening, ladies. I got that in the neck last night.
No, it's a young team tonight.
Oh, no, I heard them introducing you, he was spot on. But regarding the points we're talking about, I mean, it's all doom and gloom, but it's not. It is doom and gloom at the moment. But what I'm concerned about for tomorrow's game is that everybody's on about put a performance in, put that in. I honestly, I want that as like anybody else wants it. But he's got to use all his subs tomorrow night. He's got to, as Ox said, he's got to use that bench, because see the ones that are going to be playing, if they do run their legs out, I'm more concerned about the weekend, because that to me is a bigger game. I'm interested to see how this will pan out.
I don't disagree with you. I think I've said this a lot on here, Porter. I think in modern football, professional football, the minimum you use is 15 players.
Aye, that's the new that's the new ethos in football now. You've got 15 players of a squad now that you can choose for, and you rotate them as when required.
One sub for an emergency, mate.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. And I think it will take 15 players to take this team to task, mate. But I'm with Davey. The weekend's game, mate, it's more important for me.
I totally agree, but you've got to play you've got to go and play the game, and you've got to do it with the right attitude. It's a bigger fish, but still, we're Rangers. We've got standards, and that's how the manager and his players are getting in the next GB, because we've got standards.
Sanders Ox said that we should be able to come back for going a goal down it in 4 minutes that just weren't met. Standards where we score a goal within 4 minutes against a lower league team and don't go on to convincingly win the game. That's what's at a minimum. We go out there, we put in a performance, put in hard work, and you come off the park with that shirt ringing. I mean, it's some of the stuff that you're seeing. You see the passing as well. The loose passes and stuff like that. That is just, I mean, in training and stuff like that, that should be crisp off the mark. There's no excuse for us turning up on match day and not being able to pass the ball to each other. And that, to me, dispels guys that are not really that interested. Not so much interested in Rangers, but not interested in, like, being in that game. Yeah, I just don't get it.
I just think we're a team void of confidence, Port.
I have to agree, mate. And if you remember back to when we played them at home, right up until the red card, I couldn't be happier. Ibrox, I thought we played excellent. We were really on their case with the chance with Morelos in the first minute. You know, we rattled them for the first 60 minutes, mate. And then that red card made a big difference. So we've proved we can compete next year, but it does look like a team with a lot of players, which is very rare. Wildly off form, mate. Wildly off form, or unfit, or injured playing.
Thoughts, Davey?
Aye, well, I was going to just bring up something that you had mentioned there a few nights ago, and you were spot on about.
Somebody listens to me, Davey.
Aye, you're the best, as they say, simply. Anyway, I'll be interested. Anyway, what I was going to say there was, now, you made a great point about the Liverpool game. When we went down 2-1, and the substitutions, I don't know where they came from, but if we have a similar situation tomorrow, I'll be really interested to see if he does anything about that, because his tactics, whatever they are, it just leaves his cell wide open with subs.
Decision making has not been the best. I mean, there's a few things like, I'm not saying that these boys are the greatest players in the world, and I think Southside picked up on a bit of it last night. Fashion Sakala does all right against Hearts. It's a decent game against St Mirren. Plays okay in the first half against Liverpool. Comes off when the forwards come off. Doesn't he play horrible? I get maybe he was in the red zone because he hadn't played a lot of football, but never even go on the pitch. Doesn't make sense. Then doesn't really feature. Disappears, sort of thing. Scott Wright plays, does no one of our better players, and that's for a low base Port Bear against Dundee. And then Matondo appears on the right hand side. I don't get it.
And like I said earlier on, and you wonder why our players are not understanding what Gio's doing. I think they're totally confused, mate, and dumbfounded with his decision making. 1 minute they're in the team, they play not a decent game, but then it's rotated again. Sakala came in, as you said, had a good wee cameo, starts against Liverpool, you know, and then he's back out again next year. It's just, I think, to me, that breeds, you know, frustration. I'd be raging, you know, if it was me getting in and out and in and out and in and out and no, you know, holding my place. Players need a run next year, and I've not seen, you know, guys getting a proper run in the team to give ourselves a proper chance. I've not seen. He's been changing it far too often, and if he has changed it, he's changed it far too late.
GB, it's a long time since Port Bear was in and out, wasn't it?
So I've heard, mate. So I've heard.
It was doing the hokey cokey.
Aye. But you get it with the selections, mate. GB.
I do, Ox. Like the fashion one really ate away at me because, again, the Motherwell game was the perfect game to keep him going. He actually played really well against Motherwell. I think it was last season, or was it season 4? I don't know. What one of the seasons he got his hat trick up at Motherwell, and I was like, perfect game for Fashion to go in, keep the pace in the team, and keep the creativity going. Was the other side, like left side as well. We kept 1 minute we play Matondo out there, and the next minute we'd have Kent in, and then he stuck with Kent, and I don't know. He's just no stuck with a team, and this is what came. I understand the injuries have came into it and stuff like that, but even the midfield's been chopped and changed so many times, Ox, as well. We talked about Sands for ages being in the central defence. Why not play King? It was just. It's a bit of a shambles, and for him to be the coach he is, and with everybody around about him, I mean, you just don't see the Dutch influence there at all, Ox. You don't see. I mean, if you had to say to like one of the top Dutch coaches and look at Rangers and say, "Is that your kind of Dutch model?" No chance. They wouldn't say that we're playing the kind of Dutch way. And I'm really surprised at that. I thought when Gio came in, we would have, I'm not saying returning to Ajax, but I was hoping, especially taking one of their coaches, that would start getting a kind of philosophy there that would start playing a kind of Dutch way.
But we are playing a Dutch way, mate. It's get the ball wide, put it into the box, get runners into the midfield, but it's just not working. Poor.
Aye, we went to our previous manager who played aggressive, liked to play quicker, got the ball forward, quick. Again, he played a 4-3-3, but his team was more aggressive. Their retention to get the ball back, he had an ethos where he wanted the ball back in like 6 seconds. So if anybody lost the ball, he wanted you to win that ball back in 6 seconds and fire away. But we're sitting watching a manager who's the team plays slow, they're lethargic, they look unfit, they look disinterested. And if that's the way training is next year, to the way they're playing, it must be a very, very boring training session, mate. So you reap what you sow.
Maybe the guy we're missing is bizarrely Michael Beale, if that makes sense, David.
Well, it's so good in hindsight, isn't it? But I mean, that's definitely not going to happen, is it? It's a case of I watched one of the best games of football I've seen for a long time in the Scottish Cup with Pollock against Annan, 4-3 for Pollock, and it was total into-it football, great goals. Everton, and then you go to your top league, and it's absolute mince. A lot of teams make that for themselves, like Livingston come in and park the bus. There's no shot, there's no quick fix here. That's not going to happen. And all I'm concerned about, we said it last week, everybody was the same. They said, let's get the points till we get the break. And what did we do? We gave away 2 eye-books against them. I mean, that's heartbreaking.
I didn't see that coming, I must admit. I mean, there was games that I thought were potential bananas, Hearts away and maybe Motherwell away. Livingston at Ibrox, that's a tick in the box, Davey, isn't it?
Oh, big time. And that's not going to make their confidence any better. That's what's worrying me. But as I say, as the result of more, it's a foregone conclusion, unless something else. And what the boys were saying is there's no way they're going to come out of trap and no play because they've got too much to play for. We come out of that with maybe 3, whatever, without injuries, and without them being absolutely knackered and up for the game at the weekend. I'll take that. It might sound a bit defeatist, but I think it's a sensible attitude.
I'm looking for a performance, a performance where we keep the ball, we have a shape and a structure behind us, and we see what we're trying to do. I'm not looking for a performance the last half an hour against Liverpool or the whole game against Ajax, which was, I mean, arguably in some respects that was worse display than the Liverpool display.
That's all we're asking for, mate. As I say to that first 60 minutes against Napoli, we know what this team's capable of, and that's the frustrating part for us all. We know this team's better in what they're showing, but we just can't put our finger on why they're not showing the same levels and standards that they set themselves. And it's, that's all happened today, tomorrow night, mate. Go and get a bit of pride. Even in the last game against Ajax, go and show a bit of pride. Go and show you deserve to be in that tournament, and make yourself, it's the first year in the tournament in a long time, mate. I get that. And maybe it's a step too far this year. It's not been a kind group either. Maybe next year, with reinvestment and better players, we'll go a step further, mate. But maybe it's just a step too far this year, next year.
Well, we missed the boat when we didn't recruit, didn't it? That was that one. That put it right up a spout.
Say that again, sorry, Davey, I missed that.
We missed the boat when we had a chance to recruit. No, even this season, at the end of the other season. And we ended up gaining contracts for a year here and a year there. We guys their legs are away. And we're paying the piper now for it.
Some people would say we took the lazy option, but there you go. I wouldn't dream of saying that. GB?
Aye, well, I mean, don't get me wrong, when you bring in, what have we brought in?
Have you seen the price of these gold toothpicks, by the way?
No, when you look at the players, like, if you said to somebody, right, we brought in, was it 5 players we brought in the summer there, you're like, right, that's good investment. But naming them and well, apart from probably Ben Davies as it stands now and Cholak, have really improved the squad massively. If you mean, I mean, Ben Davies is probably doing the same job as what Hollander was doing for us when he was fit. Cholak's definitely.
He looks a bit more comfortable on the ball. I don't know if he's 100% defender the way big Hollander is, get your face and everything in front of him, but he reads the game better than Hollander, and I think he's better on the ball. Whether he's a better defender, I don't know, mate.
Aye, time will tell. And then Cholak's been a poacher that we've been craving for since probably, I mean, a younger Defoe would have been ideal for us, and I think we've got that now. We've got a guy there you could probably say could be a long stay in our team. But the rest, I mean, Matondo was massive money for us. I mean, what was it, nearly 3 million or something we spent? I don't know.
Exactly.
But
well,
I mean,
the other two projects obviously Suter, and you would argue, you could put an argument up that if Tom Lawrence would have kept playing and kept his form up, the transfer window in the summer would have been okay, because Lawrence would have been a success, Cholak's a success, and Ben Davies starts to be a success, and we'll see where we go with a young boy Ridvan. So, but it's no that. But then if Lawrence is there, there's still no legs beside him in that midfield, mate, and that was a mistake. We're paying dearly for it.
No, exactly, mate. Again, I keep going on about it. Sentiment. Arfield served a great 70 club. Stephen Davis, great 70 club, mate. But I'd rather they're heroes to me, and I'd rather if Rangers went out and spent money on new heroes and got somebody with legs, somebody that breaks the lines and goes beyond the forwards for midfield, and scores goals a bit like the way Gaza, Barry Ferguson used to do it. Go beyond the striker and get involved, mate. But all your guys are all similar, mate. They're quite happy to sit in that centre circle and then pass side to side, and it's this possession-based football, mate. It's boring to watch. It's boring to watch, and now we're paying the price for sentiment, in my opinion, mate. Can I just come in a minute?
Well,
if you promise you'll make it the last comment to your birthday, carry on.
No, just what we're talking about there, actually. We are always going to be in trouble. Now, Martindale made a remark after the match, and he said, I've mentioned it last night, I think, Rangers are there for the taking. Now, if you look at the way we set up at the back, 2 good wingers, because Barisic couldn't tackle a fish supper, Tavernier couldn't tackle a black pudding supper.
He's got to catch it. He's got to catch it first, mate.
He's got to, and the 2 in the middle. I mean, when Bassey went out of there in a Rebo, that was the main part of our legs, and we've not replaced that, and we're suffering big time for it. And we can't replace it because we've not got anybody else in the squad to do it. I mean, it's obvious we're struggling.
Aye, in the midfield, aye, because that exposes your defence, and then you don't get the creativity up front.
And the ball carriers, Oxshire, Aribo was a ball carrier who would again go and break the lines and get involved with the forward line. We did not replace them. These guys,
Andy would clear balls for the front post. Andy caused havoc in the other box as well. Yeah,
he did, and we didn't. For some reason, Ross Wilson didn't go and try and replace that type of player, mate, because that type of player is what we needed. He must have seen it, Oxford. He's got to have looked at that squad and saw Ryan Jack, Stephen Davis, John Lundstrom, Glenn Kamara. Glenn Kamara can carry the ball, which is fair, but he's well off form as well. They're all too similar to me, mate. They're all far too much the same, and that's why we're suffering big time in Midley Park. No creativity.
I get it. Maybe his argument, I'm not sitting up from here, GB, but his argument would be that he brought in Tillman and he brought in Tom Lawrence, and that was the signings they were going to give us. One was a project and one was a series pro, and then he gets injured and your plans go out the window, but you've got to have a plan B here.
Yeah, definitely, Ox. That's it. That's the risk you take with signing a young player that's not really been a first-team player in the club that he's came from. You mean, it's Lawrence did. I have to admit, he looked at the ticket for us. He was positive. He was taking shots from outside the box. It wasn't any of this going down the left and going down the right. He was more direct and attacking the players, which is what we need. Mary Lundstrom's good at it, I know, but we seem to put the handbrake on Lundstrom. We want to make him sit deep all the time. I'd rather see Lundstrom up way, like say a Tom Lawrence, and charging, just going direct rather than out to the wings. We used to be really good, Oxy, in years gone by. We used to look into our even, when times were tough, we used to look into our own league and try and sign midfielders with a bit of dig about them and a bit of pace about them. And we've not really done that. We've not took the best of what's round about us to help us get out of the line with the league. I mean, we could have easily picked up Lewis Ferguson for the money we've spent on the likes of Matondo and Ridvan and all that. You mean, and he would have done a job. Like say that Livingston game, he could have probably been a wee bit direct for us. I mean, it's just crazy how we've just let it slip.
Recruitment. Anyway, gents, we've reached that time of the evening. If you don't mind, get yourself a mute, because we're going to have a tune. Who's that team they call the Rangers? Who's that team they all adore? They're the boys in royal blue and the Scotland's gallant, and they're out to show the world what they can do. Some people say the Real Madrid's the biggest football team. I've even heard the Anderlecht's the best they've ever seen. There's Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur too. There's Arsenal, Chelsea, Blackburn, just to name a famous few. Who's that team they call the Rangers? Who's that team they all adore? They're the boys in royal blue and the Scotland's gallant, and they're out to show the world what they can do. So bring on the hips, the heart to Celtic. Bring on the Spaniards by its door. Barcelona, Real Madrid, they will be a gallant. Forward out to show the world what we can do. Who's that team they call the Rangers? Who's that team they all adore? They're the boys in royal blue and the Scotland's gallant, and they're out to show the world what they can do. Here's a help to Glasgow Rangers. Here's a help from me to you. And let's hope that every game will immortalise the name of the boys who wear the famous royal blue.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Already put
Oh, somebody.
all the stuff.
Right, okay, so it's a big game tomorrow night. I've got McGregor in goal. Do we agree?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Do you play Tav, Port?
I would still play him, mate. But I think I would play him in a reserve role where he's not to go and join up. I think I would try and keep the back four rigid, mate. And let your midfield protect them, as two in front of them protecting, and try and let your creative players go and join up with Morella's, mate, and try and cause some damage, because we did create chances against them, mate, at Ibrox. So I think they're there to be got at, and you are hoping they're going to have a wee night where, you know, we've already qualified.
One at a time, mate. We've only got the right back and you're away with the right side left. Yeah. All right. So would you play Tav, GB?
I think we're going to need the old heads tomorrow night, Ox. So
Is that not the trouble? We get too many old heads.
Aye, but I mean, who do we put in? Divine? I mean, I just don't against a team like Napoli. I think especially the way things are.
If we play Tav, it still might end up in tiny bubbles.
Aye, I get it, mate. I get it, but I think Gio would just add to the pain. If you mean, if he didn't play Tav tomorrow night,
all right. So you put Tav in. So depending if what you playing, are you playing a 4 or 5 at the back? Port
4.
So
4,
Ben
5,
Davis a certainty to start.
Ben Davis, and hopefully King makes it. Borna, that's my back 4.
Okay. You disagree or agree with that, GB?
No, agree. Keep going. Yep.
Okay. Right. So we're playing 5 in front of us. Yeah. Is that right? 4-5-1.
Yep.
Okay. What?
I would play Lundstrom, Sands, and I know he's probably not going to be fit, mate, but I would bring in Kamara. He
did intimate last week that Kamara could be back for this game.
I'd bring in Kamara. That'd be my midfield 3, mate.
All right, and who are you putting right and left of that?
I think you've still got to go with Kent.
Kamara's out, mate. Kamara's no point.
Is Kamara out? Well, just like Davis in and Steve Davis, mate. I'd probably go with Sakala and Kent wide, mate. Because like Sakala, pace could cause danger.
The trouble is, mate, I think we'd be pinned back, mate. David, and I'll be honest with you, I think they can become a wasted jersey when we're under the cosh at times. GB, I think that's the problem we've seen in Amsterdam. Yeah, you've got a decision to make how you play, who you play in the positions. If you get my point, Port, yeah, because they don't go with runners.
No, they don't. No, and sometimes Napoli's teams like a 2-4-4. You know, they just leave 2 at the back, and you know they've got 4 midfielders and their 4 attackers. And they all go at the same time, and all, mate. So, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
All right, GB.
I was also going to say, is McCann got a chance? Does he get into this squad? I can't remember if he's been selected or not.
I think when we seen him coming on against Dundee, mate, I've got to remember he's a boy trying to learn his trade. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm just thinking creativity, stuff like that kind of thing. I mean,
good if you just get your head patted as somebody run by you with a ball, mate, you're playing up against. You know, it's a big level for him, but maybe you never know, mate. I've been rang before, but I can't see it.
No way you've got experience like Davies and the sitting there to go, mate. Aye. Well, I say to you, I think it's the same situation as Tav. They're going to use the old heads tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. Aye. So if we're going 4-5-1, I get it. How do we get him up the park and go to the ball? Could you be mental and play Divine and Tav, Borner and Ridvan? But
to stop them coming down the left and right flank, mate. It's not by that. It's not by the idea. You've had experienced one, Borna and Tav at the back, and Divine and Ridvan in front of them, and their jobs are told, right? If Tav or Borna go forward, you two just sit back and you cover. and like I says, let's get direct to Morelos, mate, because their best centre half's out tomorrow. So let's get the ball forward straight to Morelos and let the wee man battle all night or for 50, 60 minutes until he can run the legs off him, and we'll still, get Cholak, who can maybe get us that goal for the victory, mate. I just think we have to play ugly, mate. Ugly, direct. Not great to watch football, mate.
If you've got a plan, mate, you've got a plan, and your two sitters sit in and they're defending, and then whoever's wide does a job for you, and you're playing them for 60 minutes, and then they've got to give everything a go and get involved and join in with the centre forward. There's a plan and a structure about it, yeah?
100%. Oh, definitely. But we've asked this to Gio before. Plan B. Are you expecting all next year?
No, not at all, mate. Not at all. I think that, I don't know. I think he'll play Ryan Kent. He'll play him on the left, and I don't know, he'll play the right. He might play Scotland, and I'd rather have played him in Napoli than played him against Livingston because it wasn't that kind of game. I couldn't understand that decision neither, personally. No playing Scotty, but playing him in that position.
Yeah.
GB.
Aye, Scotty's one of the guys that you can't really burn him out too much. It's
if you don't have the results,
and he's always good as a kind of impact kind of player as well. So, the last game against Napoli, I felt he had a decent enough game. He worked hard and stuff. So, I think you've got to have him in the midfield, especially if we're doing a 5. He's got to be in there. Gio seems to like Tillman in the European games as well. So, I've shouted for Fashion to be on the right, but I think it might be Tillman that will get parked up there again, or it might go. You know what he's like, Ox. He's got something about Tillman.
If he does that again and plays that boy on the right, mate, he deserves all the criticism he's going to get. GB Port Bear, doesn't he?
Aye, cause it's not fair on the boy for a start, Ox. You're sickening a player playing in a position that's not his place. He's not going to track back, Ox. He showed that. He showed us early in his stages playing in that hole behind the striker where he's dangerous. Good in there, good in the back post. You're scunning players, mate, playing in a position, and then he looks terrible, and then the flat goes on Gio. So to me, that's stupid, mate. I just think that's crazy if he goes down that road.
All right, we're going to hear for the gaffer. If you're gaffer, Giovanni van Bronckhorst.
Well, pressure, if you don't have the results, especially in Champions League, which is, of course, really hard because of the opposition, I think the best thing is to get a good result. And that's also for us tomorrow what we want to achieve in a difficult stadium against a really good team. But, I think to get confidence, you have to have a good performance and of course, something positive out of the game.
Do you worry because of the form Napoli are in that that's the wrong team to face to try and get that confidence building?
Well, it can be, of course it's a team who are, I think, won the last 11 games against a really tough opposition as well in Champions League, but also in Serie A. So it's, it's for us, it's we know the opposition, we know they have quality, but it's also a chance for us to have a good performance against a really good team like we did at home.
Scott, on Saturday after the match, James Tavernier spoke to the media and he said that although there's a lot of talk about the manager, the players have got to take a lot of responsibility for the way that results and performance have been going. How do you, in the dressing room, how do you guys in the senior pros in the dressing room get the squad together and kind of help them to try and improve?
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I think it's human nature to know when you're not doing well anyway. I think performances and results kind of speak for themselves. I think we've not been good enough, and that is the players. Ultimately, it's the players that go over the line and perform, and the performances haven't been good enough so far. And if you feel as if somebody's sort of no feeling the pressure or no feeling that they're pulling the weight, and that's the honest conversations that we've had, and we'll continue to do so to get back to what we're good at.
Some of the difficult conversations you had with teammates after performances recently, with so many heavy defeats in the Champions League so far, amongst the fans, there's maybe a bit of fear coming into this game. Where is the team psychologically coming into this game?
Well, it's another opportunity. That's a great thing with playing at this football club. When you've got games every 3 days, you need to quickly get on with it. You're excited by the game, obviously, with the stadium. It's a team that's absolutely flying domestically and in this competition. But you have to be excited. There can't be a fear. There has to be an absolute respect, which there is there. But there cannot be a fear, because these players sense it when you go up this level, this calibre of player in this team. Then they sense fear. So you're not fearful from it. You respect it. You know how difficult it's going to be. And as I said, it's another opportunity, another game to get back on the right track, and that's obviously what we're hoping to do so.
Giovanni, how's the squad going into this one in terms of any fresh injury worries? Is Glenn Kamara going to be back? And you said after Saturday there's 3 or 4 players out of form. Are we likely to see changes tomorrow night?
Well, first of all, Glenn didn't make it. He's working hard to be ready, but this game comes too early, so hopefully he will be ready for the weekend. Of course, we have some players who are not eligible in Europe, so we didn't took them. And we have Robbie fit. He went off the game in the weekend, but he's fit to travel. He trained also today, so that's good news. And you have to look at the team, which team is best for tomorrow. Of course, we're in a very demanding schedule, and we have to rotate the squad because we need everyone fresh. So that's a balance you need to find. But probably tomorrow we'll see some changes. Yeah.
Giovanni, is this a night where the team needs to show real personality, real character? Is this where you find out what they're really made of?
Well, it's very important tomorrow. The character, you always have that in games, especially in moments where you come off a draw in the weekend, but also the last games in Champions League. They've been very positive in the results. Parts of games, I think we play really well, but in the end, all that matters is the results and the character. And that's very important tomorrow to get a good result. That has to be there. That's why if that's there, we have a chance to get a positive result. Also taking account, the strong opposition we're playing, but we have to be there tomorrow, go on the pitch, and don't be fearful. Just go out, play the way we can, reach the level we can reach, and then we'll see in the end of the game if we have a positive result or not.
Given the stadium we're in and who it's named after, just wondered if you could give us your memories of Diego Maradona and what he meant to you as a player growing up.
Well, he means a lot for me. I think so many people for me. I remember '86 World Cup. I was 11, so that was the first time I really saw him play like a big tournament. I was talking about the games that Napoli played with Maradona against Gullit, Rijkaard, and Van Basten at that time. I can remember watching Rayuno on Sunday afternoon, and I think I met him. I met him twice. So it's one of the moments in life when you see like your idol up close, and still it's what he's meant for football. It's immense, and I think when I speak about him, it's only good memories, and it's good to see this stadium where he's named at. It's beautiful times here at Napoli, and really nice to be in this city to watch. I was here before with Feyenoord a couple of years ago, and for me, he's one of my idols from the past, and still is.
You were just saying that you hope tomorrow you can reach level. Character will be important, but how do you approach this game? You know that a point can keep you alive next week. Is it a case of just going out there attacking, trying to score goals, get a point, perhaps a victory, or given what's happened already in the Champions League, you have to keep it tight, maybe just try and keep a clean sheet, try and keep it as tight as possible, 0-0? How do you see it?
Well, it's a game you have, as I said before, the game management is very important. We're facing a team who's, attacking really fast and good with quality players all over the pitch. So in these environments, you have to be, I think, defensively quite solid, but still have to find the moments to attack well. If there's in transition or in build-up, but. If you come here and only defend for 90 minutes, it's waiting for the damage to be done. We have to be ready to be solid, but take our moments to be dangerous as well. And I think that's very important for tomorrow. And of course, you want to start well. Make sure you're still in the game in the second half to get a positive result.
Matthew, and then last question for Robert.
Giovanni, you played three centre-backs against Liverpool at Anfield. With Connor Goldson being out, do you feel you have the personnel at your disposal to be able to repeat that tactic? And how is Leon King after coming off at the weekend?
Leo King is better. I think he felt sick, as I said on Saturday at halftime. So that's why we took him off. Of course, we have centre backs injured. That makes it for them. Unfortunately they cannot play. But I think we still have players in the squad to play the same system. We don't have many centre backs, but we still can play that way.
Not having that fear factor, do you have any worry at all that if the team loses an early goal, that the players could collapse? And also, when you mentioned Maradona, can you talk to us a little bit about the meeting you had with him and what that was actually like?
Well, we had, first of all, coming back to your question about tomorrow. Of course, we need to start strong. I think that's very important in every game. We saw in the weekend, if you don't start strong, that you're already behind early. You definitely don't want that tomorrow. A goal can always happen, but it's to react from the goal against you. And as you said, I think in many games we collapsed. Especially the away game against Ajax, home game against Liverpool, when after the last 20-25 minutes, those are times you have to be very solid and make sure you're defending really well to not concede more goals. And the moment I met him was in the World Cup '98. I think we were playing Argentina. We just beat them in Marseille in the quarterfinals, and so we were waiting in the bus to go back to the hotel, and then we see a lot of people coming. We knew someone, was coming who was very, very important or very famous, and then Diego went into the Holland team bus, and he congratulated everyone with the result. So it was for me, it shows his personality to congratulate us with the semi-final place, and of course for us was a really nice moment to meet one of our biggest idols.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, well, sort of intimated there's a possibility that Leon King would be playing. I couldn't take anywhere else for the team apart from Glenn Kamara's no making it, Port.
That's as much as I took out of it, mate. And one word they used in previous games against Ajax and Liverpool was the team collapsed at a certain point in the game, mate, and that worries me, because if they get 2 or 3 ahead, is that what's going to happen again? Is the team just going to throw the towel in? I want to see fight. I don't want to show them respect, Oxford. I don't want us showing any team respect. I want us to go out there, get in their faces, tackle hard, make it difficult for them. Don't let them settle on the ball. Be in, just be in their faces, make it hard, mate. But can I trust this team today at the moment? No, I can't.
I can't work out what his role is. Surely his role is to make sure that we don't collapse, GB.
Aye, and his coaching staff as well, Ox. I mean, they're the tacticians, so they've got to look at Napoli and see where they can try and cut out the danger. I think where we've picked up on it needs to certainly either be a 5 at the back or a 5 in midfield, because we're going to need the bodies to try and cut out their attacks. But I mean, it's hard. Gio, I mean, in the press conference, Ox, he's such a nice guy. I mean, but nice guys don't always win, and sometimes it just doesn't work at a club. I mean, and the modern night will not dictate Gio's future, I don't think, but certainly, like it says, if it's another 7-goal hammer and it doesn't look as though there's a performance there out the players, then
it's difficult being a nice guy, as I know, Port Bear.
Aye, I'm probably more the snarly type, mate. I prefer a manager that's, you know, gets angry at press conference, gets angry on the touchline. Diego Simeone's one of my favourite managers, because he's animated. It shows he cares, and sometimes when I look at Gio, he just looks lost. He looks a guy that's, you know, run out of ideas, doesn't know how to fix what mess he's been left. And I know he's been ravaged by injury, mate, but even with the tools he's got, he still looks like, what am I meant to do here? You know, and he was the one that said, I'm happy with my squad. He said that, Ox, here. So he's I know that. Yeah, of course I know that, but he just looks bereft of ideas, mate.
Yeah, I get the injuries. I get the, you know, maybe he's not got a couple of players that he'd hoped to get. I get that, but we're still not getting as much out of this squad, considering the budget compared to Livingston's GB that we deserve.
Aye, that's it, Ox. I mean, the modern night you could totally forgive the team on a total bad result. I mean, but Livingston, I mean, budgets are miles apart, and there's no way that what it says we should be going a goal down within 4 minutes, and then it's taking us to 90 plus 1 minutes to get a goal back against Livingston at home. I mean, we've got so much more talent, we've got the best of facilities, all the rest of it, Ox. We've got a top manager who's been about as well, and you try to tell me that Martindale and his made up squad of free transfers is able to out tactician us. I mean, it's things like that, Ox, that really put the pressure on a manager. I mean, like I says, maybe a hard-fought game against, like say, Hearts, and you lost with the odd goal, and it's a good game of football. But that on Saturday was a team that, like I says, just didn't look interested in the game until 85 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see what it takes us tomorrow night. We'll see what it takes us. I think we've got to be clever and use the personnel to the best we have. I mean, we can't be too open, but we've got to use legs and get forward as often as we can, because obviously it's the best form of defence. I don't think we can play defence against attack, Port Bear.
No, definitely not, mate. I think we've got to be patient. We've got to make sure we retain the ball, try and keep as much possession, you know, slow the game down, because that won't suit them. They like to ping the ball about quite quickly. Try and get a game down to your pace, if you like, frustrate them, and use moments similar to the way Scotty Arfield scored against Liverpool, mate. There will be moments and openings in the game where we've all got a chance. The first minute against Napoli, Morelos could have put that ball right in the poke of his header, but he never. But we just have to use our moments wisely, mate.
Okay, we've been joined by Blue Star. Evening, Blue Star.
Evening, Ox. Evening, guys in the panel. I keep hearing some of you saying, want to see us being patient and having a go at them tomorrow night. Listen, I call it as I see it. I've not seen us having a proper go at any team since the start of the season. One result I've seen is really trying what I thought 11 players were trying, and that was the PSV game. Out with that, Ox. I'm serious. We're talking about superpower here. We're up against them all night. I've not seen us. So we've not done it in our own league. How are we expected to try and have a go tomorrow night? He's got one chance and one chance only. He's got to put 11 players out on the park, play compact, we'll very rarely, and I will be defeated because I'm telling you it's going to happen, we'll be very rarely out with in half tomorrow night. That's how good that team is. They battered Liverpool. They never took just four off Liverpool. It was 4 going on 8 against Liverpool. And we know what Liverpool were able to do against us. That team are a brilliant team. And I know we put in a bad effort at Ibrox. It's all right, thing be saying, well, if Morelos had scored in the first minute, we're on up the park for the blooming first whistle, and he got a chance. Yes, and if it went in, it might have been a different game. That's all I've spots and maybes. They outplayed us. It's the same as last night when I heard Bridge saying we played fantastic against Liverpool in the first half. Oh, no, we didn't. I've watched that first half 5 times. We did not play fantastic at all. Liverpool basically never had a right good go at us until the second half. And the minute the second goal went in, you hit the nail on the head. Our manager didn't have a clue what to do. He brought on 3 subs and took off probably our 2 best players on the park, and we collapsed. He used that word, yes, he's got that right there now. He used that word again. He collapsed. Ox, we've got one chance tomorrow night. You need to play a Walter Smith. Boring football. Play everybody basically in front of our goalkeeper. If you get a chance of getting the ball, then somebody like Kent or whoever he plays on the right, if they can run with the ball fair enough, try and get a couple of players up the park. But it's a defensive game, mate. It has to be. It has to be. There's no other way. We don't have the players.
No.
Sometimes you've got to hold your hands up. You've just got to look at it. Our squad's deprived of any talent. I think they shot their boat last year, Ox. I'm being truthful. There's too many old legs in there now. Too many bad injuries. The players aren't coming back. Even Tav, let's be truthful here. Tav is wasted. He's carrying a groin strain and the guy can't run. How many times have you seen him trying to run out of the halfway line? He can't run. If Tav can't run, his game's finished. And it sounds being depressive, mate, but you've got to call it for what it is. You've said it all season. We've got no legs in that team, and your midfield's your powerhouse. We don't have one, mate. So you've got to play compact and try and show it up. It's the only chance we've got.
We've not even got really great defensive midfielders, really. You've no got it. I mean, you're talking about Sands and maybe Lundstrom, and that's playing Leon King beside Ben Davis, and we've ended up right in the middle of the park, being short. Ryan Jack's injured, and Ryan Jack, 18 months roughly, 9 league games. We all like Ryan Jack, but he's not the answer going forward. Post-star, is he?
Absolutely, mate. You're bang on. And that's what we're up against now. I mean, look, let's be truthful. We're playing at home there on Saturday against Livingston. Ox, see the last 5 minutes, and that's only because they camped in their penalty area. We were struggling to even get up the park, and that's no way us getting hundreds of tackles in against us. We've got no legs. Every player looks deprived of talent. It's just that we're managing. Listen, I'm not crying for the manager, honest, I'm no, because I've tried to analyse it from all angles, and I'm being truthful. The lack of quality that he's got is absolutely frightening. The players, most of that squad shot their boat last season. I'm telling you, I said it at the start of the season, guys, you know I did. We've got no legs at all. The couple of players that were doing it for us, even they get injured, i.e. Lawrence. He was making a big difference in the middle of the park, and even he get crocked. There's no power in there, none at all. There just isn't, guys. We're struggling in Marine League. Who have we come out and actually horsed in Marine League? Yes, we scored 4 against Hearts. Let's be truthful here. The teams they were playing in Europe weren't even great sides, and they were us scalping them. So sometimes you've got to hold your hands up and you've got to call it for what it is. We're up against one other team in our city. They've run out of the tap of his Ox. That's a fact, mate. It's not been pessimistic. We've just not got it in it. We need players badly.
Aye, but the trouble is with the transfer window, you're stuck with Port Bear.
I know that, mate, and that's our problem. Old Davey's right. Listen, this isn't going to turn around anytime soon. For me, honestly, I'm not even confident as beating Aberdeen at Ibrox and Saturday, mate. I'm being honest about it. I don't see any form in that team at all, and I haven't for weeks.
Port Bear.
And the other question is, Oxford, do you trust Ross Wilson and trust Giovanni van Bronckhorst to go out there and try and find the answers and the legs and the players that we need to help this team? This team needs help, Oxford.
Yeah,
this team needs. Yeah.
You asking me? Well, I'd get for Ross Wilson. I'd get Gary's gold toothpick.
He's £30,000 a week toothpick, mate.
Aye.
And I think it needs freshened up. If that's your solution, because I don't know if we can go again with recruitment, and I don't know if a new manager. We need somebody that thinks differently and scouts differently, and maybe gets it right, because he's got too much wrong. And there's something coming. Something's got to give. GB?
Big questions will be asked, mate. Sorry.
On you go, and then we'll go to GB.
Big questions will be asked, mate, if it's a poor result tomorrow, and like Blue Star touched on, if it's a bad result against Aberdeen, then he's like I said earlier on, his jacket's on a shaky peg, mate. The fans, the board won't accept that either, but the fans will go after their nut if we don't get anything out of these two matches at all.
I think tomorrow night, depending on the performance and the score, it'll be forgotten about quite quickly if we get a result on Saturday. But if the two games didn't go our way, GB, the snowball would just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
I think it would become unattainable, Ox, to be fair. I think if it's nothing but a win against Aberdeen, then it'll probably allow Gio to keep wanting on till the World Cup, basically. And then I think at the World Cup, that's when the board have really got a decision to make. Ross Wilson as well. I mean, it's got to be what they see for the future of Rangers. I mean, do they give Gio the rest of the season after that to have a go at it? Give him a couple of players, let the injuries come back? Or do they wait to what would be the final, the second last Old Firm game to make a decision? I mean, and by that point, you're talking it's near the end of the season anyway. So, but it's going to be the World Cup's going to be a testing time for Rangers, depending on how the results go. But anything but a win on Saturday, I think you might see the trigger getting pulled quicker. And it's what we don't want, Ox, because it's going to cause even more turmoil, because you're going to, like he says, have to bring a guy in. He's going to have to galvanise a squad that's already low in confidence and ravaged with injuries. So, what do you do? Do you stick or twist? I mean, do you just go with a guy at the end of the season and then have a look at it?
I mean, when your heart rules your head, Blue Star, and in your heart ruling your head, you say, well, we go out tomorrow, we've done stranger things in our life and we've got results. We never had we've not the greatest record in our history in Italy. It's no bad, and we've had a couple of victories, maybe, or at least one victory I can think of. But this team, you're right, they're a top side, but you're just like, no, we keep them out for 70 minutes, breakaway, score a goal, and then keep them out for the next half an hour and win the game. But you've got to be realistic. Sometimes you're playing against a quality side. I'm only worried about how we perform tomorrow night, to see if there's any reaction and to see how we play. And if we go with this open 4-3-3, we could get another goal.
Oxford canny. He simply canny. I'm not being funny. If we play 4-3-3 tomorrow night, we've all agreed on 1 point. There's no legs in the middle of the park. Now, even if we run our own half, look what happened to us. And look what happened to us against Ajax. Now, for me, Ajax are the poorest in our group, by far, apart from ourselves. We hung after them. We didn't even go. As Port says earlier on, you want to see them snapping the ankles. Ox, we never laid a glove on them. We never even put in a tackle against them. It was as if Gio set the team up to totally defend, which I can understand, but no Ibrox. And that's exactly what we've done. And they had the freedom at Ibrox to pass the ball from side to side anywhere they wanted. And there wasn't a Rangers player in between them. So on that basis, he's got to try and set us up. Yes, we'll have to defend. There's no getting away from it. We'll be defending all night. But you've got to try and keep the score down. When it comes to Saturday, that's a different matter. And this is when I'm pulling for Hawks. I've said it for the start of the season. You know, I've watched every single game, and I'm telling you, we have not dominated one single game in Scotland. That's my issue. It's not about the European thing, because I know our squad's crap. I mean, you've got to call it what it is. It's garbage. And a lot of that isn't his fault. A lot of it is down to injuries. Of course it is. But the recruitment has been a shambles. We needed legs. Go through them. Tillman, Matondo's got legs, but he's got nothing else. Sakala gets played 1 minute and gets dropped the next. Scott Wright, even when he played a half-decent game, gets dropped. I don't get where the guy's coming from, Hawks. To get any momentum at all, if somebody plays half-decent, you play them in the following game. Your manager drops them. It just doesn't add up. Honestly, there's too many issues out with even the injuries. His style of play, Big Al's been saying it for weeks. What is his style of play? 2 wingers get the ball and crash it in the middle, and we've only got 1 guy in the box. It doesn't add up, Hawks. It doesn't. And it hurts me, honest, it does. I hate slagging my own team. I just don't see anything there. Honest, I don't.
The recruitment in midfield, it does look short, you know. When, well, if you accept Port with Lawrence come in for a Rebo, then all of a sudden we're left with Davis, Arfield, Jack, who they get the Ald and Jack's injury prone, and then Lundstrom, who isn't the most mobile, if we're being honest, Port.
Yeah, but there's no doubt about it, mate. We're doing to bare bones, and that's just the fact. But you know, there's one thing that's been bugging me in some of the defeats at Ox year. I don't see any anger. I don't see any upset. They're not showing that they're hurt. And all like I said earlier on, all I ask is the lads get everything and show some fight. But the 7-1 against Liverpool, the 4-0 at Parkhead, I didn't see anybody looking angry, shouting and bawling each other Oxtear, you know. And it's, I don't know, to me it looks like some don't want to be there. I'm not saying they don't care, but I think some of them have been there too long. But I want to see a team that hurts. I'm a terrible loser Oxtear. I'm a terrible loser, but I don't see it in the Rangers team. I don't see it. I don't see him getting angry at each other if somebody makes a mistake. Lundstrom does it now and again. I'll give him that. But he's probably the only one that gets angry and tries to lift other players around him. You don't see 11 players doing that. They don't look like a team Oxtear.
There's the thing, we were all angered at, like, when Big Goldson came out and says, when we were 3-0 down at half time, he says, well, the game was finished as far as we're concerned anyway. See, since then, let's be honest here, there's none of us can argue the point. There's been too many games, that's how it's looked. I mean, look at even that game against Livingston, Ox. How many times did you actually see a guy busting a gut to get to the ball? Bar that last 7 minutes. They were still stroking the ball about in front of our goalkeeper, and McGregor was going off his trolley, trying to get him to kick the ball up the park. But we were still passing it from side to side. There was nothing getting punched through. I get the fact you're up against 11 players, but you've got to try and do something different. There's nothing there. It's not been negative. It's just what you're watching week after week after week. As Paul says, there's no guile, there doesn't seem to be any anger in any of them. I just don't get it.
I think the thing is also you're not tiring the other teams with Port when you're not making them chase. If they're just sitting in compact, something similar that we were talking about tomorrow night. Yeah, you've not got the ball, but if you're really compact in there, you're not chasing to the same degree if you're only doing it in your last 30 yards.
Yeah. Aye, if you take Liberty weekend, mate, you know, in my opinion, there's an easy game in Scotland because every team that plays against Rangers, it's a war. They want to beat. It's their cup final. And I sometimes I worry, does Gio get that? Does he get that? Does the players get it? Does the players get that these players are going to sit in, snap into tackles, injure you, battle you, win every header, second ball? Does he really get that? That's what the Scottish League's all about, mate. I worry about that as well. Livy got stuck in, mate, scored their goal and got a point out of it, and they deserved it, mate. And I want your team to show that sort of bottle and fighting heart to match against Napoli tomorrow night. And you never know, like you said, mate, we might get something out of the game.
I will unlikely, but I think you've got to be. We're as Rangers fans, we're optimistic and we expect things to happen. We're being realistic and a bit pessimistic, GB, but that's what it's done to us in the last few weeks.
Aye, more so the Liverpool game, Ox. I think nobody expected us to win either of the games, but the 7-1 obviously just kind of opened our eyes to how quickly the team can just basically shut down shop, if you mean. And even McGregor in that game was shouting and bawling and telling him to be switched on, and nobody was listening. I mean, and when you've got players not listening to each other, then this is the kind of thing that will happen. And tomorrow night, like I says, hopefully, I heard Scotty Arfield getting a couple of questions in the press conference here, and he said there's been conversations had and stuff like that. I've seen the training video that was released with Rangers today. I mean, when you see all that, it all adds up to a team that's still together, a team that's still happy with Gio. But what we're seeing on the park doesn't add up. I mean, it doesn't make sense that they turn around and tell us about Tav not being injured, Lundstrom's all right, and yet we're seeing other things. I just wish we would actually see the true story of what's actually going on, Ox.
Oh, see if me and you on our last legs at football, as we've all been there. See if you've got a manager that's talking you up and he keeps playing you in games, even though deep down you're not contributing the way you used to. Are you backing your manager? Aye, 120% you are. Now, nae harm to wee Arfield, nae harm to Stephen Davis, nae harm to Tav now it's carrying an injury, nae harm to Lundstrom. These guys aren't good enough to be wearing a blue shirt as starters. Never in a million years. And until we as Rangers fans call it as it is, we're never going to be out of this slump. The fans are telling them already, listen, see when we've got an opposing manager who we know is Rangers through and through, wee Martindale. See the very fact he came out after that game, Ox. He was telling the fans and the press, he's looking at our team. And he says we were there for the beating. By the way, he was 100% right. See when you've got Rangers fans telling you that, Ox, even though he's a manager of an opposing team, that guy was telling the truth and we all know it. That Rangers team, I'm telling you, shot their boat last season and we hung on to too many. We never added enough quality and we certainly didn't add enough in the right areas. We only brought one guy in the middle of the park, Ox. You've seen it yourself, and I know it hurts you because it hurts us all. Was Lorms and he get crocked. They never beefed it up any. And all the players we've got, Jack, etc. Yes, Jack's a decent enough player, but he's at the end of his career now. He's had too many injuries. And so it's unfolded the same with Lundstrom. There your head spear points in the middle of the park. They're goose dogs. There's nobody in there pulling strings, not one. And that's our problem. That's our big problem.
This is another thing I can't get. See if he's goosed and they're no fit, and I accept it. Lundstrom is playing through maybe a knock he's got that he can still play, and Tav, I agree, I think it is a groin strain. I've said that for weeks, as you know, Port. But how did they play against the I don't care.
I know, mate, this is a conundrum we've got with Gio. He's frustrating the life out of a lot of his, mate, and he's looking silly, Oxford. These guys should have been rested. He's looking silly, mate. He's looking like a guy that's well out his depth to be a manager of Rangers. And like I said, his background team should be snapping at him and telling him, look, this is the working. We're all looking stupid here. How can we change this? These are the players we've got. Let's find a formation that will fit this team. Because you can only use what you've got, Oxford. but it just keeps persisting with that, you know, like you said about Warburton years ago, plan B, plan A, try it harder, you know what I mean? And it's not working out here. Martindale's worked out, so what do you think Aberdeen's going to do? What do you think even Napoli's going to do next year? They know exactly how we're going to turn up.
Yeah. That's the sad part, Ox. We as fans were going like that. Well, is there anything he can do to change it? Ox, you look at the personnel. What can any of us honestly say he could do to personnel to change it? He can drop Kent, he can drop Alfie, he can drop whoever you want, but he hasn't got better players to bring in their place. That's the whole issue here. And the guy's got a point there. We drop a guy it cost us £7 million. We don't have another guy out on the left that's got anywhere near the ability of him. Okay, he's not been playing it and he's not been showing it. We all know that. But he's played guys there and he's played everybody in that flipping squad, I think, has played out in that right wing. Nobody's been consistent since the day it's left. Exactly. Exactly, mate. So, as I say, sometimes I do feel sorry for him because the lack of talent he's got. But did he bring the players in? This is what we don't know. Is it Ross Wilson?
It doesn't look like it because they don't look sort of Dutch type players were brought in. But whatever the deal was, he knew the deal when he signed up for it, and he's ultimately responsible. He's ultimately responsible. But along with the director of football, we'll see what it goes. Right, just let's focus on tomorrow night. Look, we wanted back in the Champions League when we qualified against PSV. We knew we were moving up a standard, Port. We've not done ourselves justice at all, but I think more with the score lines rather than the results, because we're not really shocked that we lost against Liverpool home and away, and Napoli beat us at Ibrox. We're not that shocked. We know where they are and where we are, but it was the manner. So tomorrow night, we're looking to I think John Bennett called it a Rangers performance, yes?
That's fair, mate, that's fair. I think over the 4 years under Gerrard, when he was building the Europa squad, I thought, and it culminated in a year, getting to a Europa final. That was as far as we've got. But what we didn't do, mate, was upgrade the squad for the next level, the next rung in the ladder. And it showed that there's an absolute gulf in class between Champions League and Europa League, mate. And we've been blown away this year. It's my first season in it. I'm glad to be back in it. But let's see what this board can offer us here between January and next summer. Hopefully we qualify for it again. We know what we expect now. We know the level of player we need. That's all we can do, mate. Take it on. Let's be positive and take this on. We know the level we need. We know how hard it's been. But you've got 2 games to show Rangers performances, and that's all we're asking you to do. Go out there and fight, tooth and nail, heart, power, snap into every challenge, and get yourself a result or a good performance that we can be proud of.
That's all we're asking. A performance that we can be proud of. GB.
Yep, Ox, just anything like we've seen recently. I mean, well, not so much recently this season. I'm talking about like the last season in Europe. It was hard work and performances that got us to where we got to. It's still practically the same team. There's a couple of players missing for it, but there's no reason we can go out there and put a hard working performance in. We've got a lot of Rangers guys in there. We've got Arfield, Lundstrom, McGregor, Tav to a certain extent, Borna. I mean, as much as we moan on about him, the big man has got passion for us and stuff like that. So they just need to all galvanise together. And like I say, they're on the big stage tomorrow. Go out and enjoy it to a certain extent, but go out and put a performance in and that we can just walk away from and say, well done tonight, and we move on to obviously Saturday. And then that's when it gets back to the nitty-gritty on where Gio's at, really. Tomorrow night, as long as there's a performance there, I'm not really going to take much for it, whether it's on Gio or on the team, because, like you say, we're playing against a top side tomorrow. But moving on to Saturday, it will be a different story.
We accept that, but we wanted to be back in the Champions League, and I don't know, it's good for the club, for prestige, and ultimately, let's be honest, it's not been a success for us, Blue Star, but it's good for our profile. We've not competed, and that's what we're disappointed in.
Absolutely. Even if we think we're teams, we've got a lack of quality, I still maintain that we could be set up in a way that you're not getting beat as easily. That's what grinds at me. You can take the facts that you're up against far better quality and better players, but there's ways of getting around that you nullify the other side to make it more difficult for them. That's what he's got to do tomorrow night. Show the fans, show us that there's players out there that are trying to play for that jersey, because when we've been playing at Haymocks against our own teams in the league, they've let themselves down badly, and they've let the fans down. And in Port's right, or JB, you just want to see the players going out there, and if they get beat, they get beat, but at least play for pride. And coming Saturday, that's a biggie. We've got to beat them at Ibrox and show that they're playing for the manager. Don't come out and tell us. Show it on the park. That's all we ask.
We don't want the platitudes, Porter, or the sound bites, yeah? But when things aren't gone well, they become quite insulting.
Aye, of course, definitely, mate. Definitely. You know, the Rangers fans have backed this team through thick and thin, and we've been there for them every time. And all we ask for in return next year is for them to go here and give us 110%. That's all I ask. And as I said, I don't care if we get beat. It's the manner of the defeats we've had in this league. Do I think we're that bad? No, I don't. I don't next year. I don't think we're, a team that should be getting beat 7-1 off of Liverpool. I really don't. I just think we've come up against a level that's maybe came too soon for us. That's my only criticism of the team this year, mate. We never bought wisely. I mean, guys like Aribo and Bassey would probably have thrived in that tournament for us, but we never replaced them, mate.
You're not going to replace them, are you? Let's be honest. To replace Aribo and Bassey, you're going to have to spend about 20-30 million quid. It ain't going to happen. But what we never done, and I think that's the point Blue Star's going to make, we never try to put square pegs in square holes. We try to get by. We improve in the defence with Ridvan and Davis, ideally, and we never replaced anybody in the midfield, apart from Lawrence, who's, let's be honest, he's a guy who plays more attacking. He's no what you would call a natural midfielder. He's more an attacking player.
Yeah.
So we never replaced. We lost Aribo, who covered a lot of bases for us. Jack, Arfield and Davis at the same time, they've gone. Either physically or their age has got turned against them. Yeah, they're good football players. They've all got, if you combine the three of them together, what a player you'd have at their peak. But sans a time wait for no man. And I think that's the reason where if we brought in two midfielders to play in there and it hadn't worked out, we might be able to say, well, we had a go, but we never even tried to put square pegs in square holes there. We'll start quickly before we go, mate.
Absolutely, Ox. We as a club held on to the players that were truthfully coming to the end of their careers, played through their careers with injuries. They're all at the tail end of their careers. And instead of snapping out and bringing in youth with a bit of process, a bit of guile, talent, we only brought in one. We brought in Lawrence, and as you say, he's made an attacking. If they'd even have brought in another couple to shore it up, bring on your Arfields, bring on your Davises when there's 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to go in a game. But you needed legs in there, and they just didn't do it.
All right, thanks for the call, Blue Star. Always a pleasure.
Cheers, thanks for having us on, guys. Onwards and upwards.
I'll speak to you in 5 minutes after the final whistle. All right, GB.
Aye, brilliant, Ox. Thanks for having us on tomorrow. And like you says, mate, tomorrow night we're in the Champions League. We may as well sit back and enjoy it. I'm going to be enjoying it. I've got my special Chris ready, my Walker Sensations, and hopefully it's a sensational night. And thanks to Port Bear the night as well, mate.
All right. Oh, Port, Scotties, what have you got?
I've got my peanuts and my Doritos with sour chive dip, mate. I'll have a few wee shandies tomorrow night, and hopefully we watch a great performance by Rangers. Just go and give it all, guys. Just go and lay everything on that grass. That's all I'm asking. Cover. When you cross that white line, I want you to leave everything, absolutely everything, blood, thunder, snot, the whole lot, and show a bit of pride for us fans and Glasgow Rangers and your manager.
And yourself, Port?
Yourself, 100%. 100%.
Yourself, you know, you've got to look yourself in the mirror, mate. Eh?
Oh, 100%. Definitely. Definitely.
All right. Listen, this has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night. Thanks, Dave, for the old Davy and Bow Star. Port and GB for taking part in the show. Fox for doing the technicals. Old School Blue on his sabbatical. And everybody for listening. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back at 7 o'clock with a pre-match show building up to the big game tomorrow night. The Champions League tie. Come on, let's get excited. Get behind the team. See where it takes us. Take it away, Foxy boy.
Today, forever and for always, we are Rangers through and through. Well, the legends come and the legends go, but Rangers live on just the same.